Hello, this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I don't know if you can see the dimension there. So let's get started. It's really an easy card. Okay. I'm going to be using brushed metallic adhesive back dots. I have a scrap of thick white cardstock. I have a piece of the gold foil. This is the brushed metallic. It is 4 by 5 1/4, and I've die cut out of the center of it from the second largest stitched rectangle die. And I've tried to center it up so it makes a nice frame. Then I have a piece of white, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And my card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I'm going to be using the stitch snowflake dies, and these are a retired item, but I just love them. Large letter framelet dies. Excuse the noise. My kitten deciding to chew up a box. Okay, so I've got the J and the Y from the large letters. This snowflake die, I've already cut 2 of them out of thick cardstock out of that scrap, and this is the rectangle that I used to cut the frame out of. Okay, so we're going to bring in this 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock. I'm going to bring in those letters and the snowflake. Aside, and I'm going to bring in the frame part of this. This one will put aside. Okay, I'm just going to set this frame part on here as a guide, and I'm going to line up where I want my letters to be. And the snowflake will be the O in the center. And I want to make sure that I have one point going straight up and down. I'm going to line it up where I want it. And then I'm going to go and run it through my die cut machine. And I will be right back. Okay. Pull these off of here. Now these you can save for another project. This piece we need. Take that out. It's a little fussy to get out, but it's not hard to get out. We're just going to take our pokey tool and poke on these little little dots on the outside here. You don't have to do all of them. You can just do a couple. And then peel it out gently so you don't break anything. This is the hardest part of the whole thing. And it's not really hard, it's a delicate piece, so you don't want to break it. You just take your time doing it. Okay, now we're going to poke these out. Okay. Trash can, okay. Now we're going to take these snowflakes. We've got 3 of them now. We've got the one we just cut out of this piece, and then we've got these other 2, and we're going to stack them on top of each other using the Tombow liquid glue. And what I did, I just took the glue, got it started, I use the tip to just push it around just a little bit. You don't want a lot of glue. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not using very much glue because I don't really want it to ooze out. I just want a little bit of glue pushed around, covering the majority of the snowflake. Okay, then we're going to bring in these other, they're symmetrical, so then you just set it up on top of it. When you have it where you want it, you squeeze it together. We're going to do that one more time. You don't have to do this, I just found it made for a nicer element. That little bit of dimension, extra dimension on it, just made it a little bit nicer. Okay. Line it up. Okay, now you can see you have a nice thick embellishment. Okay, then we're going to turn this over. We're going to bring in a mini dimensional. We're going to put a mini dimensional right smack in the center. Okay, and set that aside for a minute. Now we're going to bring this piece. We're going to bring this one in. We're actually going to put dimensionals on the outside of this one. And don't be stingy because you want your card to stand up. And this is the piece that we cut out of the center of that frame. You could use the edges. You could use those strips, whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to take the backings off of these. Okay, let's get this slippery thing out of the way here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to center it up so that it's over the top of that foil. We're not seeing any of the dimensionals. We're going to go ahead and set it down. Okay. Now we're going to bring in this piece, the frame. We're going to put some glue around the edge. And I'm going to center that up here. It's going to have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around it. Okay, we're going to bring in that snowflake. We don't want it to be exactly over the top. I suppose you could do it that way. I twisted it so that it was opposite. I'll take the backing off that little dimensional. Center it up on that snowflake twisted. And push it down. And then I'm going to come in with, well, I'll add this after I've mounted it to my card. Where'd my card base go? Here it is. Mount this to the front of the card. And you might want to put some dimensionals around the edge. because there's quite a bit of space there. I just want to make sure they don't show. One more here in this corner. And then we're going to put wet glue here. And this is the same size as the front of the card. So we're going to line it up with the front of our card once we get these backings off. Just slid. There we go. Now bring in the brush metallic adhesive dots. And I'm going to take your pick tool. I'm going to take one of these big gold dots and put it right in the center of that snowflake. And there you go. There's a card that's as simple as that. It's the one we just made together. Here's the one I did previously. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.